This is a paid program. JJ Publicidad, EMR, and its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guest.
Ang buhay, buhay, buhay sa Amerika. Mabubuhay ka sa Amerika kahit mahirap ka ha. Basta't kasama mo, kababayan mo, maligaya ka na dito sa Amerika. Sa buhay-buhay sa Amerika.
Uy mga kababayan, kapuso at kapamilya, oras na para magsama-sama tayo para sa isang oras na kwentuhan na magbibigay ng aral at inspirasyon. Dito lang sa ating programang Buhay Buhay sa Amerika ni Rhia Luz.
Hola, good morning everyone. This is Rhia Luz of Buhay Buhay sa Amerika and we are live at Entre Mujeres Radio. Today's episode is so important because we are not only bringing two amazing women leaders who are truly empowered on bringing peace-building tools in our world today as we embark on October's bringing the awareness on Breast Cancer Month and Domestic Violence Month. Why don't we bring today a new topic that will bring positive and inspiring message to the world? Let's talk about peace. And today's episode, I have with me the two amazing Women's Federation for World Peace leaders of today, two of the international Vice President of Women's Federation for World Peace, which I would love to introduce to you first, is the Women's Federation for World Peace USA President, Miss Kaylee Moffitt's journey into leadership began when she, as a teen, organized youth service opportunities in her middle and high school and soon began a youth pastor for her church at age 16. And she began working with the youth education nationally with the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification. And in 2019, she became the Director of Youth and Young Adult Ministry and became the Universal Peace Federation USA in the position of Congressional Liaison focusing on Indo-Pacific security concerns and religious freedom. And now she serves as the president of the Women's Federation for World Peace USA and holds a bachelor's degree in business operation, management, and family science from the University of Maryland, as well as a master's degree in peace studies from Yojong International for Peace and Public Leadership. Kaylee is a proud wife and a mother of 3 beautiful children, which she counts as her highest achievement and feels if she can be successful in this area of her life, she will have contributed to making a better world. Let's welcome our International Vice President and Women's Federation for World Peace President of USA, Miss Kaylee Moffitt.
Hi, everybody, and Rhia, thank you so much for having me today. I am a big fan of you and the work that you're doing, and really honored to be on this radio show today, along with my wonderful other Vice President, Merle, who we're going to be hearing from today.
Yes,
so I'm excited to have the conversation together.
Thank you so much. And as I said, we have two powerful international women leaders. So let's welcome and introduce to you Miss Merle Cristina Barlaan is the Vice President for Administration of Women's Federation for World Peace International. She's the Director of Women's Federation for World Peace International Office for UN Relations in New York. And she had, with 27 years of advocating for women, peace, and environment, she had led groundbreaking initiatives such as Mother's Heart Network, Asia Pacific Peace Education Center, Permaculture Literacy Program, Youth Global Women's Peace Ambassadors Leadership Program, And she supports Women's Federation for World Peace building efforts across 128 countries, and currently the convener of the Beijing Plus 30 Working Group on Environment, an NGO with consultative status on women, and in Geneva with Civil Society Task Force, UNECE region, and she's pursuing her master's in peace and conflict studies at Yojong Institute Graduate School of Peace and Public Leadership in New York City. Let's welcome our Miss Merly Barrete Barlaan. Good morning, Merly.
Good morning, Ate Rhia. Good afternoon there from New York. Thank you so much for inviting me here to be with you and Kayleigh. As always, from 30 years back, you're always a shining mentor of mine. So yeah, I am honored to be here with you, and congratulations on your big success. You received the Carpe Diem award 2 weeks ago, and I'm very proud of you.
Well, thank you, Merly. Just to be called a mentor for your successful career, that is such an honor. And as you have just mentioned about Carpe Diem film, thank you so much for recognizing Buhay Buhay sa Amerika for their on their 7th anniversary. We appreciate Danny Aguilar of Carpe Diem film, and this is how I met Merly from last meeting, and this is how this episode is born. And through the powerful women's effort and these peace building tools that we're about to share to the world today, this is going to influence and make a world truly a better place. Many people talk about success, money, power, and all this. You can always search about this in the internet, but very few are talking about how we can build peace. So today, this episode is focusing on peace building efforts, and especially women initiating this episode or this initiative. So let's talk first with our international vice president and Women's Federation for World Peace president, Miss Kayleigh Moffett, about her amazing tools on how peace can be brought about. Miss Kayleigh?
Sure. Yeah, well, I'm excited to share about a few different initiatives, but maybe the one we want to highlight today is last month was the International Day of Peace, which the UN and the whole world celebrates. And in honor of that, the USA chapter of Women's Federation, we hosted what we call Bridge of Peace programs all across the US. And this is a signature program of Women's Federation for World Peace, and it's modeled after the life of our co-founders, which is Father and Mother Moon, who were born in what is now North Korea and had to escape to South Korea because of their religious work. But through their desire to bring about world peace, they sought about an opportunity to bring reconciliation between themselves and the leader of North Korea, Kim Il-sung. They wanted to give a model and embrace somebody who could be called their enemy. And so the Bridge of Peace program is modeled after this and brings together people of different backgrounds. They may or may not have existing conflicts, but they may represent conflicts of history in the past, such as racial differences, religious differences, generational differences, gender, all of those things that sometimes can be a huge blocking point in making peace. And the Bridge of Peace is a ceremony that brings people together across those differences. This ceremony was initiated in 1994, where over 160,000 Korean and Japanese women came together to heal the divide between Korea and Japan. If you are not aware, Japan occupied Korea, and there's a tremendous amount of still remnants of pain and resentment that exist from that time. And so these women wanted to step forward and show a more peaceful pathway. And then later in the 1990s, American and Japanese women came together to heal the divides that were left over from World War II. And since then, the Bridge of Peace has become one of our signature projects where we work to heal racial divides and religious divides, but in particular highlighting the women as the key ingredient in this process, because we really believe it's the motherly heart that can transcend all hate and all pain. And if the women of the world could step forward and embrace each other as sisters, we really believe that the world could be healed and transformed.
Very powerful message. That's already very inspiring. I love that Women's Federation for World Peace has initiated that Bridge of Peace project, and many probably have been thinking, what is Women's Federation for World Peace that you are talking about? That's one of the things people will be asking. What is Women's Federation for World Peace? Since we have introduced our organization, Merly or President Kaylee can answer.
Go ahead, Marley.
Okay, so yeah, I'd like to instead of providing the usual vision and mission of Women's Federation, I'd like to use a quote from Mother Moon, our co-founder of Women's Federation. She said that throughout history, the women have been persecuted, but through women's maternal character, love, and sociability, the time is coming when the power of women will save the world. That is really my favorite quote because it reflects on Women's Federation for World Peace, unique approach to peace building. We envision the world where the future, where women will work together, transcending of the barriers of culture, religion, race, and creeds, moving forward to a world where the world is one global family, where we are all brothers and sisters, and we work together in with under the philosophy that we are to move forward to a world where there is a mutual prosperity and interdependence. The reality of the world right now, as people may look at it, if you watch social media and the news, it would look like hopeless and chaotic. But in Women's Federation, I'd like to say that we are moving towards a world of a peaceful future, mainly because we are surrounded and we're working, and I am working with women who are great and hopeful, and we are building a framework towards a substantial or creating the actual environment of a peaceful world. And I think Kaylee, with her programs in Women's Federation USA, the approach and the tools that we provide to women leaders and our colleagues and our constituents, not just in USA, but all over the world, it leads to a very substantial framework that we may say in the next 5, 10, 15 to 20 years, we can pave a way for a world of peace. And I hope, Kaylee, you'll agree with me on that.
Absolutely.
That's very powerful. I like the word you said. The power of women can save the world. And that is why I would like to both of you to emphasize what is that most important role of women to peace building.
Well, the interesting thing about Merle mentioned our co-founder, Mother Moon, is that when she talks to women and gives guidance to women, she talks on different levels. But the first one she always talks about is in the family, that as women, the most important role that we have is as daughters, sisters, wives, and especially as mothers, because this is creating a culture within our family. And I appreciate this about the way Mother Moon guides our organization is that I feel empowered as a mom. I have 3 little kids, like you mentioned. And so it's crazy when you have to travel and do so many different things and lead different programs. But I also feel empowered in my family life. And because of that, it transcends into leadership in society. And so Mother Moon also gives us, great guidance and even her example as a woman leader. But what she talks about is that women, their voice is so essential in peace building because it's like this other half of the conversation around peace building that hasn't been present throughout most of human history. Normally, the woman's voice is not present. It's only in the home. But now it's so important in this time, and we're lucky in this time, especially in the US, where women's rights are really growing and there's much equality growing. But what's missing is really understanding this more feminine touch to leadership, which is about harmony and bringing people together and not just fighting, winning or losing, but how to create opportunities for everybody to feel that the decision making and the processes are of benefit to all. So the woman's touch, I think, is just that. It's the ability to bring unity in conflict situations, which is why, Merle, I didn't know you were getting your master's, but we both went after our peace studies master's because that's basically the feminine touch, right? In leadership is how to create healing and harmony in conflicting situations. And the time is so necessary for that now more than ever. And I think that's why women have to be able to step up at this time. And a seat at the table needs to be made to make sure that that woman's voice is represented.
Well, very well said. Thank you so much, President Kaylee. That is powerful. And is Merle, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, one of the unique approach of Women's Federation that really inspires me, and I'm very proud of, is the idea that peace starts with me and it starts in the family. When we look at peace building in that frame, it's easier to measure it. It becomes tangible because the measure of establishing peace and seeing peace actually being realized is in your family. When the state of our hearts and minds and how, as a woman leader, as wife, as mother in our family, how we are managing our family to be peaceful. I mean, the family is the microcosm of the world, and to benchmark world peace through our own achievement in the family is the best way to see if will really happen. So yeah, and this month, well, relating from our own family, then going into how we can bring peace to our neighborhood, to our societies, and in the global stage. I'd like to highlight two of the landmark events that is happening this month, in the month of October, which is the 79th founding anniversary of the United Nations. And next year will be the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Platform for Action, the Fourth World Conference on Women. As mentioned earlier, I am leading a working group on the Beijing Platform for Action, and it's about assessing the deliveries, the deliverables of the member states and how they empowered women and girls in the past 30 years and their implementations. So I'll talk to you more about that, but these are two exciting landmark events that women should watch out and follow because, as I said, it's as much as the world and the media talks and focus more on the rather depressing, darker side of the news, there are undercurrent activities that are inspiring and hopeful for women.
That is very powerful message, Merly. Exciting. And I would like you to tell us more about that later on the show, because those words that you just mentioned are some big words for us to understand, and we need more understanding of, especially that Beijing plus 30 groups and those uh, commission on the status of women that you are working now. That's why I'm so excited. This is so powerful for women to get this voice. And as we talk about the negative impact on things to women, like the breast cancer awareness month, as I'm one of the survivor of a breast cancer. And gladly, I'm not a domestic violence survivor, which I am so I truly applaud and wanted to encourage all the women about the awareness of this domestic violence. And I as you have mentioned about peace building tools that you are mentioning, I wish many more women can be informed and be involved into this process. So one of the things that I would like to ask is why women needed to be involved in this peace building processes. Merly or President Kaylee?
Kayla, why don't you go ahead? And yeah, I think I like the way your programs in USA, the way your framework is being laid out, more on the holistic side and
Yes.
the heart and spirituality.
In-
Yeah, reconciliation.
In fact,
Yeah.
she just had the awakened retreat.
Yeah,
So
right.
I think
Yes,
that,
let's talk about that,
yes,
Kaylee.
that will be
I
powerful.
was there and I am so inspired. I felt like, okay, I didn't know that there's part of me that has been sleeping, and then it's like, oh, I'm awakened. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a high compliment coming from Merle, who's like one of the brightest people I
And
know.
yes, the
So
most
thank you
awakened
for
one.
right.
Please tell us the awakened retreat, as well as I know you also have the her tribe. This is powerful women's tool.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Rhia, and thank you, Merle. We just last weekend, as Merle was mentioned, we just finished this like a 3 full day experience for women. We had about 80 women. We were in Pennsylvania, women from all over the country. The furthest travel was all the way from Hawaii, and they came to Pennsylvania in the beautiful time of autumn and had to stop and take pictures of all the beautiful trees. So that helped, the beautiful environment. But really, the purpose of it was we use this word awaken because we wanted to awaken women to their true value and their true power. And from our framework, we really believe that the only solution, we live in a society where there's sometimes competition between men and women, and sometimes women feel like they have to fight against men or be tough like men and prove men wrong. But our belief is that men and women have unique attributes that are both needed in society. So we want to uplift both men and women equally, not repeat the problems of the past where women have been put down. So this whole program was designed to give space for women to kind of dig deep and look within themselves. But the solution for finding your true value has to come from your relationship with your creator, understanding that you are a reflection, a divine reflection of that creator. Now, the wonderful thing about Women's Federation for World Peace is that we are a spiritual organization and we welcome people of all different religious backgrounds. So while we were together this weekend, we had women from different religious traditions, and we make sure to honor the wisdom of each of those traditions as we kind of uncover who our creator is. The unique perspective of Women's Federation for World Peace, which comes from our founder, is that we are highlighting this identity of our creator as a heavenly parent, which has both masculine and feminine qualities. So what this allows, which is kind of new in thinking, is it allows us to, as women, to realize, oh, actually, I'm a reflection of my creator. There's unique attributes for me as a woman that come from my creator that the world desperately needs. And if I can find that value, if I can have confidence in that space and stand boldly in that space, then I am empowered. And then that voice can come forward, which is so needed in peace building. So we spend a lot of time digging deep into that and having so many beautiful and lots of tearful conversations because we're women and we like emotion and it's beautiful and celebrated. But we also had a lot of fun. We had a bunch of creative workshops like flower arranging. We had a drum circle and watercolor painting. We had empowerment workshops. Merle gave a great one I heard about community building and having women work through the process of creating solutions and plans. And then we always had, evening programs that went a little bit deeper into reflection and, your next steps and planning. So I came out of that weekend myself feeling so awakened, but also so relaxed. Usually if you plan a conference, you are exhausted and stressed at the end. That was not the case. And I think it's because all of the women there, contributed. They brought their energy, they brought their perspective. So it was peaceful just to be there with other women. We didn't want to leave, right, Merle? It was such a great time.
Now I feel I should have been there.
Next time, Rhia, next
Yes,
time.
but I really like that idea that we women, you said you are the divine reflection of our creator. And if only we women and everybody could experience that and feel that in their hearts and their whole being, I think the world will be awakened. And
Yes.
thank you so much, Women's Federation of World Peace, for starting that idea of being awakened to the true power of our being comes from our creator. And you all, and I'm so glad that our founder, Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, is really trailblazing the path for us women at this time and age, how we can really create that world of peace. And that's why we are so important and so needed at this time and age to come together, as you said, not to compete, but to complement and work together in unity. Right? Ms. Merle, you have anything more to
Yeah,
add?
I would like to add and share a little bit more of what Kaylee already shared. My take on it is that the retreat actually allowed me to have a deep dive on understanding women's value and our perspective on the theory of change in terms of peace building. The narrative of women's feminist movement for the last 100 years is always that we don't have our human women's rights, and it was denied to us. But the way it's going right now, a lot of countries in the East and in Africa, they don't have a very positive acceptance to that narrative. So there is a resistance to the change that we want. But in this workshop, then I realized that, if only we focus on the narrative that instead of demanding women's rights, then we focus on women's responsibility. And then so we understand what is our value, who are we as our value as the daughter of God, the mother to our children, the wives, the sisters. and then we will look at the world in a very different way. We would not be looking at our husbands and the men in society as our competitor and the perpetrator. Of course, there are big mistakes done by the undeniable patriarchal leadership systems since ancient times. But we could change that. We always say, actually, what I learned, Kayleigh, is well, it's not a new word, but it's like submission by sweet surrender.
Oh,
Because, when we, husbands and the man, uh, when we come to reconcile with our own self, the inner us, that we are women with great responsibility, with high value and great responsibilities. And when we activate that aspect of us, we become creative, we become loving, and we are very, very productive, and we become that woman leader who is appreciated and welcomed by the men and the society at large. So yeah, we don't have to fight in a way that it results to the men feeling intimidated and rejecting us and destroying the systems. All the, like how there is and in cancer, the chemotherapy, it destroys both good and bad, right? Both good and bad immune systems. But we can actually, when we empower ourselves and reconcile to our original value and understand who we are, we don't need to fight for it in a very destructive way. But yeah, I think that the Awaken retreat was something to that effect, as to me personally. Yeah.
very well said, Merly. And I think that now that you have started the Awaken Retreat, you also have this should be done in every places, and I'm so excited for the arrival of our president Kayleigh Moffett in Arizona in November, and
That's right.
we look forward that you can give us a tidbit of that Awaken Retreat when you arrive here with us, and we're so looking forward. I also know you also have the Her Tribe, right? So
Yeah,
would you
her
mind
tribe is like the experience of the Awaken Retreat, but very small and digestible, and just a monthly women's small group kind of experience where we provide a curriculum that people can use. There's a selected reading to read, discussion questions and activities, but it's all about encouraging the journey of women and finding what we call true womanhood. And there's an important role for sisterhood to play in that. If you don't have other women who are keeping you accountable to that journey, if you're living in a man's world, which sometimes you are, you only learn one way of doing things. So you need sisters and women who can really support you in your journey and discuss together. So that's something that we launched this year, and we're up to 21 different groups that are growing the Her Tribe communities. If anybody wants to join one, you're welcome to do so.
now?
That's amazing, Kayleigh. Wow.
Yes, and now I'm excited. If any one of you who are interested to join me on the Her Tribe, let's have it here in Arizona. I haven't started it yet, but I encourage all of you to come join me in this Her Tribe journey. And just comment below and make sure that you comment, like, and share this message. Because this important episode will not only change myself, but everyone around you. Not only the women, but even men will surely love this, because as they said, when a happy wife is a happy life.
Happy life.
So that is one of a thing that make your women or your wife and your sister and daughters attend this event. And I know, Merly, you have initiated the Youth Global Women's Peace Ambassador. Is that the one? Or the Youth Global Peace Ambassador. Would you
A
be
young woman
Yes.
global peace
I
ambassador.
think this is
Yes,
a
yes.
very timely, if we can incorporate those into your initiative as well. Can you share with us this?
Sure. Yes. So actually, it is an innovation, a version of the Bridge of Peace project, um, centering on uh, reconciling our differences. So for the Young Global Women Peace Ambassador, we know that we have the Global Women Peace Ambassador project, um, awarding and recognizing those women peacemakers. But this version is empowering, training our young women and girls aged 16 to 24-year-old to be peace builders. So the way we look at the world right now, especially the growing polarization and divisiveness all across, not just in America, not just in our neighborhood, but all over the world. If we don't create projects and if you don't create a framework where we create a path towards a peaceful future, then the peace that we long for will not happen. So what we want to do with our Young Global Women Peace Ambassador is to have this young people be trained for 6 months how to be the peace brokers, the agents of reconciliation in their neighborhood, in their community. What we want them to do is to organize Bridge of Peace ceremonies. So in order for them to be certified as Young Global Women Peace Ambassador, they have to go through a 6-month training. And including in that is they have to find 12 pairs of conflicted adversarial parties, whether it's from former enemy countries, former warring countries, or in their neighborhood, enemy neighbors, or political parties, or racial divide. Then, just you just have to ask, like, oh, do you have enemy? Do you have people that you don't like, or do you know anyone who have enemies or who are angry at each other? Are you interested to reconcile? And then they would have to organize a bridge of peace ceremony, and then from that, after reconciliation, they have to focus on forgiveness and healing. And in order for that healing to take effect, these former adversarial parties would have to create a project, whether it's growing a tree, planting a tree, growing community gardens, taking care of elderly. But these two people, young people, would have to um, facilitate that so that the healing will take effect and that it can be impactful in the community. And then they have to do 12. Once they have 12 pairs reconciled and do activities in the community, then they can be certified as Young Global Peace Ambassador. And we want to do this not just in our neighborhoods in New York. So it started in New York City. Actually, we proposed it to New York City government, and they awarded us first step $1,000 to do this. And then, but we wanted to grow bigger, and we're doing it. We're developing it for Iraq, and we're developing it for India. And next, I'll tell you more about. We are going to do it. I'm going to promote it in Vienna, UN Vienna, in a couple of weeks. So yeah, this is this is the premise of this project, where in order to build a world of peace substantially and a measurable one, we need to train our young people now. What kind of world? Without forgiveness and healing, I don't think we can actually establish a world of peace in a
Very true.
realistic sense.
Very, very, true. Merly, that while you're telling us that, it just give me so much inspiration because that youth, a global peace ambassador, the requirements and all the things that they need to do, to me, these deserve more than just 1,000 grant. Everybody should really support this because while you're telling us, it gives me an idea. This is how we can prevent bullying everywhere because that is how we can reconcile people, as well as it could prevent youth pregnancy, because especially in the Philippines, I heard someone was mentioning the only thing that they are sad to see in the Philippines is they see so many young people getting pregnant at a very young age. And I think and not only in the Philippines problem, but this is a problem for many countries around and even anywhere. Once a youth are involved into that activity at a very young age, the ability to become a leader becomes less and less, and their ability to be highly educated is also hindered because how can you become very effective if you are already pregnant at a very young age? So I think that youth global peace ambassador and the Bridge of Peace project, as well as the Her Tribe and the Awaken Retreat or seminars, this really are very powerful tools for us women and young women. So, Merly, you also mentioned earlier those big names, big words about the Beijing plus 30 groups. And I know you are going to Europe tomorrow, in fact. So, can you
Yes.
also mention about that?
Sure. Yeah, actually, it's something that's exciting for women. Um, in a week, actually, in the week, October 19 to 21, the NGO CSW Geneva, they're hosting a consultation with the member states to assess the progress of the implementation of the Beijing Platform for Action. So, for those who don't know about what's the Beijing Platform for Action, so I'll give you a bit of background. In 1995, the Fourth World Conference on Women, they held a big conference in Beijing. So government and civil society NGOs from all over the world, they gathered. And during that time, a declaration was created by the member states. And this contained 12 points. They call it the 12 critical areas of concern, where the world governments promised to uplift and liberate the suffering of all women and girls through um, empowering women in these areas. Women and environment, I mention it because this is my working group, but um, one of it is women in environment, women in conflict, women in education, violence against women, women in human rights. There are 12 of them. And so the governments are mandated uh, to uh, to implement programs and policies so that they can actually support women and girls financially in the areas of decision making and all that. And the yearly conference in the Commission on the Status of Women at the UN, which happens every March, that is, they use that conference as a platform to benchmark, to assess how governments are implementing, how they're doing it with their promises. And next year is the 30th anniversary, 2025. And before they create the zero draft of the agreed conclusion for next year's Beijing, well, Commission on the Status of Women, the topic will be on the implementation and the review of the Beijing Platform for Action. So in Geneva and for the UNECE area, so the 54 countries, all of Europe, USA, Canada, and in Central Asia, they're going to hold a consultation with the member states. And here where the civil society will provide statement and input that this is how we did research of the 30-year work, and there are achievements, but it's lacking in so many ways. There are yet so much that needs to be done. There are gaps, wide gaps, and there are failures, but there are successes also. But then we want to provide our input and recommendations on what should be done in after 30 years and in the next 30 years to fully empower women. So that's what we are going to do, and we are going to have a workshop on the environment, women and climate change, and how women can be fully empowered. So yeah, there are so many events and activities, and I look forward to it. And I hope that whoever is listening, please follow us. I'll be active on my Facebook, our Women's Federation Facebook and Instagram.
Well, Marley, that is so inspiring. And especially as October is also a Philippine American History Month, this is really inspiring for all of us Filipinos, for you as a Filipino American going to Europe and United Nations representative for the Women's Federation for World Peace International and Vice President. That is so, we are so proud of you, and we want you to know that
Thank you. Thank you.
the Filipinos are so happy that we have Merle Barret Barlan in the United
Well,
Nations.
at the Rhia, as always, I say I'm riding in a wave of good fortune with the mentorship of Women's Federation International with our founder Mother Moon, and also with your mentorship.
Oh.
So yeah, I go there with the whole Women's Federation in mind, representing our aspirations and the work that we are doing.
Well, we are all applauding you, Merle, not only as a Filipino American, but all women. You and our President Kaylee Moffett empowered all of us. And we thank our Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, our founder of the Women's Federation for World Peace, for really setting the bar high and for allowing us women to finally see our true value, our divine and unique ability to connect to our heavenly creator, our heavenly parent. And that is how we can really transform this world. I actually have with me here our live audience, our attorney, Lalaine Esguerra, who is next to me, and she's nodding the entire time. Attorney Lalaine, would you like to say a word? Oh, come on here. Before before the show ends, I want you to hear the perspective of our amazing, famous lawyer from the Philippines, Attorney Lalaine Esguerra.
Yeah, I'm Attorney Lalaine Esguerra from the Philippines. I'm glad that I'm here, and I am very honored to hear the perspectives of powerful women in the world, not just in the United States. I'm very excited to learn from all the things that you have said, and of course, those tools, the awakening, the Bridge of Peace ceremonies, those especially engaging the youth in this kind of endeavor. I think this is amazing. I hope we can do this in the Philippines, and especially let us involve the youth in solving problems, especially in the family, in the community, and at least in the Philippines, I'm concerned with the Philippines, I from the grassroots, I know there are several families with conflicts. I don't know how to solve the problems using this youth. I hope you can help us.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Attorney Lalaine. Stay there, stay there.
All right.
I wanted to, this is how God works. When women come together to even, I don't know Attorney Lalaine. I just met her
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, and immediately I
Amazing.
invited her to
Wow.
our house because her friend who's with her is my sister's best friend all the way from college. And sometimes we don't know when God put us together for we don't know the reason, but God has a reason, and the providence, she always mentioned is very providential. Now I just realized this is the providential way of us women coming to work together in unity, in harmony, and in sync with one another, because we are God's divine reflection, as you have both mentioned. And I think if we all women come together, work together, and empower and uplift one another, that is how we can transform the world for good. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
for being
At
here.
Rhia, before you end our program, can I just mention?
Yes.
I don't think I can end this program without mentioning and promoting a movie that we are producing with the Carpe Diem with director Danny Aguilar. It's on the women and environment. It's called Chocolate Hills. So it's an environmental movie about a young woman, 18-year-old, coming of age, an environmental protector, a guardian of the Chocolate Hills, and her story and her journey. It's a beautiful story. So just watch out for that film, The Chocolate Hills. And also, I sent you a video earlier at
Oh,
Rhia.
yes.
If you have time towards the end, if you could play that. It's a 2-minute video of our work in Women and Environment Working Group about women and climate change. So, yeah.
Thank
that's
you so
all.
much,
Thank you.
Merly, for bringing that out. And we're looking forward for having you also come to Arizona and promote the Chocolate Hills with Carpe Diem Film. I'm so happy to support you in any way we can to make all your works become even not just a reality, but thrive in every places we go. And that is what the power of women is all about, right? Our
Yes.
President Kaylee, I
That's
think
right.
our
Absolutely.
founder is all about how we can bring all women together. And one, as you mentioned, you wanted to have that video. Javier, are we able to play that video, please? If you can, yes, thank you so much.
There is an exciting opportunity open to all ages and backgrounds to learn, network, and contribute to discussions feeding into positive changes for women and girls across the world. This October in Geneva, there are a series of events taking place that you are invited to. The Civil Society Forum will take place on the 19th and 20th, and the UN ECE Member State Consultation is on the 21st and 22nd. These events happen once every 5 years. The world was a very different place in 2019, and countless unprecedented changes have taken place since then. We are not sure how different the world will look in 2029. Change is the only constant. But these events seek to realize a united call for essential progress towards equality for women and girls. You are invited to attend, participate, and contribute to these consultations. This is an opportunity for all to learn, network, and share experiences and best practice. The greater diversity we have present at the events, the richer the representation will be across many fields, and we will come closer to reflecting the diverse group of women and girls that these events are working to protect and empower. Whilst previous participation in similar spaces is welcome, it is not a prerequisite to registering. You are invited to come and share your perspectives from your own field, your own lived experiences, and to participate in an intergenerational discussion with like-minded individuals who share a common goal of seeing change realized for women and girls. The outcomes of these consultations will have ripple effects across future conversations, making a difference at a local, regional, and national level. Participants will have the opportunity to attend a variety of interesting workshops on topics such as women in the media, the emerging issue of AI, violence against women and girls, feminism and faith, and advocacy workshops. There will also be opportunities to network. Participants will come away from their time in Geneva as informed, inspired local protagonists. Registration is open until the 7th of October. We hope to see you there.
We hope to see you there. Thank you so much, Merly, and I'm so excited we have you as our representative in this Geneva Convention. Thank you so much for bringing that video.
Thank you, Ate Rhia.
Yes. And do you have any parting words? I know our President Kaylee is very, very busy and she has another meeting right after this. Any parting words, President Kaylee?
No, I just want to say thank you and how lovely it is to have a call with amazing women. I think, like you said, Rhia, bringing women together to have these conversations is so important, and your platform is such a great tool to get that message out. So thank you for making an opportunity to have this conversation, and looking forward to next time and to coming to Arizona very soon.
Yes. Any parting words, Merly?
Yes, nothing but gratitude. I admire your persistence in creating a platform like this to create more awareness and inspiration for the women and girls of the world to be hopeful and to know that despite of what the media at large, that the world is in conflict, divided, and a bit dark, but there are undercurrents. So we are doing a great job, and for sure a peaceful future will happen because there are people like us, women like us working.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us. And as Arizona has so many events coming up, I have to mention our upcoming events in Arizona. Starts this October 24th, Candlelight Vigil for Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Chandler, Arizona, led by our council member Christine Ellis, and free mammogram mobile event from Check for Lump. It would be on October 26th, and this is an initiative of the Philippine Nurses Association. Market Night on October 26th for the International District Night Market. And of course, our Peace Starts With Me event coming on November 2 at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Daly Park in Broadway and College in Tempe. Of course, Rated GG 2.0 is live in Arizona for the first time on November 3. So get your tickets now. And The Voices by Kata and Marian, Dessa, Sol, and Michael live on November 16. Coming up at this, save the date for November 23 for the Children's Cancer Network that will be led by the Rainbow Lions Club, and contact them for details. Again, thank you so much for joining me in this amazing episode. I think I am awakened, I am empowered, and I am thriving as a woman. Together with Attorney Lelaine here and our Ate Marikit Cruz, who's outside, and my amazing guest, President Kaylee Moffitt, and our President, Ms. Merly Barreto Barlaan. On behalf of all of us here at Entre Mujeres Radio, thank you so much for joining, and see you again soon. God bless you. This is Rhia Luz of
Thank
Buhay Buhay
you,
sa Amerika.
Rhia. And thank
Thank
you, Buhay
you.
Buhay sa Amerika.
God bless you all!
This was Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. Join us again next time at entremujeresradio.net. Hanggang sa muli, mabuhay!